Today we have Helen Higgins, the Executive Director of the Corvallis Boys and Girls Club, to speak with us about how the COVID-19 pandemic is affecting services at the Boys and Girls Club and related issues. Helen, welcome today.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Good. How are you doing overall with all of these big changes that are happening? And specifically, how is the Boys and Girls Club doing?
Yeah, well, just like public schools, on March 16th, we got a notice that everything was closing down. So that was the last day that we actually had clubhouse services for kids. So we actually shut our doors as well. Talking with a lot of community members, there's clearly a need for childcare, especially for first responders and critical workforce. So my team has been working over the last couple of weeks to see what we could do to put together some childcare services in a way that would be, as safe as possible in the environment that we're in, so that we could help out those critical responders with services. So today, April 1st, is the first day that we've opened our doors for those particular community members. So it's a really slow start. I think people are being, cautious, as we all should be. My staff was in yesterday. I've got 24 amazing people who volunteered, knowing the inherent risk of working with the kids of community members that, are either in the healthcare system or doing some of the critical jobs like, grocery and gas and pharmacy and things like that. So one of the big initiatives that we've been working on is my dream is to be able to provide these daily childcare services to all of our first responders at no cost to them. We're already really subsidizing it, so we're only charging families $25 a day per child, and it costs us roughly about $45 a day to serve each child. And so, we're seeing what we can do to raise as much money as possible to just continue to bring funds in so that we can reduce those prices for those who need our services and maybe get to the point where they don't have to pay anything.
That would be so great. Can you say a little bit about the population that you usually serve and anything you know about how those kids are doing right now?
Right. Well, many people don't think about this, but we're really the only provider of out-of-school services for school-age kids in our community year-round. So, there are camps and things that pop up, during breaks here and there, but the club serves about 3,000 kids in our community. And I think there are roughly about 6,400 school-age kids in the Corvallis School District. So we're serving just under half of all school-age kids, which is pretty amazing. As soon as we shut our doors, everybody, for the most part, went inside. Our staff has been reaching out to, especially our middle school and high school kids, through social media. We've been doing some remote learning, so we've continued our career training program remotely for our high school kids. Some of our staff have just been connecting in with kids just to make sure everybody's doing okay. But it's hard. My staff miss the kids. I think the kids really miss having their positive place to be. It's tough on my staff. I had to lay off about 70 of our about 105 workforce temporarily because, if we're not serving close to 1,000 kids a day, and, the club doesn't have a need for that workforce. So really kind of the reverberating effect of this pandemic is just going to all levels of our community. So, it's a tough time, and we're doing what we can to help out, where we can.
I know that you do fundraising throughout the year, and that is to maintain your regular program. You're still offering a program, and I assume hoping to get back to offering a program for all the kids. Can you speak to what's happening with your fundraising and funding and what your thoughts are about how to make up any gaps if you can?
Yes, actually our fundraising committee's been scrambling like many nonprofits. Our major fundraiser, Celebrate Kids Breakfast, was coming up on May 7th with Dr. Ed Ray as our keynote speaker. But because everything's closed down, that means our fundraiser has been delayed. that's significant for us. That's about 25% of our funding. So the club, we have about a $2.5 million budget, and we have to raise a little over $1 million a year in this community to keep the doors open for kids in our community. And so, you know, it's a challenge to figure out how we're going to make the funds up. We are pushing our fundraiser out into September, but that puts us into a new fiscal year ends June 30th. So right now, I think our primary emphasis has been on putting the word out that if any community members want to help us with the first responder care, that we would, you know, absolutely appreciate their donations and contributions. And in fact, after the article that was in the Gazette-Times on Sunday, we've had, I think it's close to $24,000 that came in. And yesterday, I got a really awesome phone call from Chris Quaka at Benton Community Foundation, letting me know that we had just received an anonymous $10,000 gift to help us deliver these services. So we're getting really close, kind of we did the math, and it cost us about $118,000 for a month of services if we're running at full capacity for kids, which would be that 120 kids per day. So we're well on our way to, you know, getting some good momentum in that fundraising so that we can get a little bit closer to, you know, continuing to discount or eventually, hopefully, not have to charge our first responders and critical workforce anything for their childcare, because we all know that they've got plenty of things that they're stressing out about. And I think that would be a great gift from our community to sort of, you know, lift that burden off of them.
Yeah, I agree. There are a lot of competing needs right now. I've been to the Boys and Girls Club breakfast for many years in a row. It is a wonderful, really a special event. It is sad that it's not going to be happening in May. Is it safe to assume you're encouraging people who've attended that event before and donors of the club to contribute in May, even though the event will be in September?
Yes, we're going to, we've actually got some fun things that are planned. My fundraising committee is working on a concept called Breakfast in Bed. So they're working to do these little video clips of themselves in bed, you know, talking about why they support the Boys and Girls Club and encouraging people to continue to support the Boys and Girls Club. And we call them table hosts. So there are community members that agree to, you know, call up their friends and neighbors and inspire them to show up at 7:30 in the morning for a breakfast. So we're asking all of our table hosts to continue to reach out to those people that they would have invited for the May event. And, you know, I mean, we know people are in a really difficult situation personally because there's a lot of folks that aren't getting a paycheck. So we understand that. So we're kind of doing it. If you can help us now, fantastic. You know, if you can help us in September, you know, fantastic. Whatever you can do to help us, you know, just continue to be financially strong and stable to make sure that the Boys and Girls Club, you know, stays in our community for another, you know, I think we've been around for 40 years or so, you know, just to make sure we stay strong and keep our community asset viable.
That's wonderful. I really appreciate the time you spent with us so far, Helen, and I just want to ask one last question, which is, do you have a message for the broader community or, you know, a sentiment you'd like to share at the end here?
Yeah, you know, I mean, this is a great time for reflection and appreciation. Yesterday, I went in and spoke to the 24 staff that were all, you know, spaced out 10 feet apart in our gymnasium to go through their training. And the first thing that I wanted to let them know is just how much I appreciate their willingness to step up and support community members, you know, people that they may not even know, by, you know, bringing themselves into an environment to help take care of their kids so that the healthcare workers and first responders can do their job. I think that this event is going to change us. I think it's going to change us for the better. Hopefully it will reconnect us to each other, help us remember that, you know, we're all really here sort of in supportive relationship to each other, right? So, you know, none of us are here and intended to be by ourselves. We're all here to be together and to, you know, learn through each other and support each other. And I think that this pandemic is really bringing that home, no pun intended, since we're all sitting in our homes. And it also, I think, is a chance to really remember what matters, and what matters are, family, friends, and that song, love is all there is. I mean, it really is about, let's, remember that let's lead from love, not fear. And we know this will pass, and we're going to come through this stronger. And I think we're all going to get to the point where we really realize what's the most important to each of us. And I think we're, at least for me personally, I've gotten a sense of the amount of distraction that has shown up in my own life. And this has been a time where I think all of that distraction is being purged, and we are being forced to really think about what's most important and who's most important. So it's kind of it's been a tough and rapid road to get to this realization, but I do believe that we're going to come out much stronger and different people for the better at the end.
Well, I really like the sound of that. And I, again, really appreciate you taking time to speak with us today. Again, everyone, this has been Helen Higgins, the Executive Director of the Corvallis Boys and Girls Club. I am Severin Williams of the Benton County COVID Connection. And Helen, we'll be back, we hope, and for more updates. And I hope you have a very nice day, and I hope you and me can go out and play tennis again soon.
Me too, and thanks for getting the word out to our community and just keeping us all connected.